Hello, my name is Adrian Sukita. And to add on to my pointers and refute the monetary issue, pretty much the Common Core program is costing too much money for the country, especially California, as a prime example. And the article was adopting Common Core mistake by Los Angeles Times. It is stated that California, by implementing these standards, will cost the state over $1 billion. There are bigger issues to invest in, such as underprivileged education in California. And the article, State Working Poor Lack Education Opportunities by the Los Angeles Times, it says that California has the highest number of working poor families in the nation, but this state does an effective job of providing education opportunities to boost them out of their poverty, according to a new report released sometime. California needs to focus more on investing on more on getting better propositions passed, such as this grant that will aid in finding and funding underprivileged schools to cater towards poor families. In the article, California needs to spend more time to educate poor non-English speakers. Public schools in California will receive significantly more money to educate students from disadvantaged backgrounds under a deal announced sometime that would dramatically reshape public school funding in the nation's most populous states. These are the grants that are direly needed in this country. The standardized mantra Common Core holds is detrimental to low-income families. Everything you know in the article, everything you know about the Common Core, by Ratovich in the Washington Post, says that test scores are heavily influenced by socioeconomic status. Standardized tests are normed on a bell curve that the upper half of the curve has an abundance of those who grew up in favorable circumstances with educated parents, books in the home, regular medical care, and well-resourced schools. By investing more time focusing on disparity in education in terms of wealth, not only will California benefit from it, but also the whole nation. Too much time, money, and effort is being invested on the Common Core program, and little on the education and people it is intended to aid. The Common Core program is taking much needed money from important programs. Another issue with the Common Core, as my partner stated, is the teachers are not enjoying their education, their position as an educator. Teachers are being left to write their own curriculum. In the article, Common Core's Unintended Consequences, More Teachers Write Their Own Curricula, by a report done by PBS. Smith, a university distinguished professor and co-director of the Education Policy Center, is among those who are leery of teachers taking on the task of building entire curricula themselves. He states that it's a rather elaborate and extensive endeavor to write instructional materials for a whole year, and I think that no one should expect that teachers have the time nor the professional background to do that. The change for teachers is tedious and undermines the teacher's individual capability. In the article, Common Core standards being dramatic changes to elementary schools math by a source. Teacher Jenny Aguirre's first grade classroom at Ayer Elementary in Fresno says that there's not been a lot of training on how to teach Common Core math or what we should expect of the children, she said in some time. This is just a total shift for us. Teachers do not like the program due to pre-existing training and hard work that basically is being thrown away. In the article, Chicago Teachers Union votes to oppose Common Core by the Teachers Union votes to oppose Common Core. The Common Core standards will likely cause many outstanding teachers and administrators to pursue other career options. Many veteran teachers will retire rather than adjust the way they teach. The stress of getting their students to perform well likely cause more teacher and administrator burnout. Educators throughout the USA are against the implementation of Common Core due to the extra work they have to input into creating an ideal educational plan for their students. Basically, the Common Core is not so common, just like my partner said. In the Common Core system, students are not learning to be successful in lives, they are learning to pass exams. In the article, the science of Common Core experts weigh in on its developmental appropriateness by Forbes magazine. Every time a new test comes in, student achievement drops. As teachers and students get familiar with the new standards and test scores go up. However, this doesn't necessarily mean students' understanding or skill increases. Tests of the same content but external to the actual reform commonly show students' knowledge and skills haven't grown nearly as much as a reform official test. The creativity that teachers prior to use in educating their students is hindered by standardized testing. In the article, this may be the biggest problem with America's Common Core education standards by the Business Insider, states the Common Core and the tests tied to those standards might prevent students from achieving that goal. Those rigorous tests could discourage teachers from being creative and force them to teach the test. According to a legislative official in Massachusetts who works on education policy, the tests are so intense, taking the average students 8 to 10 hours to complete. And teachers are under so much pressure to prepare their students to do well that instruction becomes less individualized and critical thinking in students can be hampered. The quality of education in Common Core disintegrates. In the article, this article states the ultimate goal of Common Core is to have every school district follow the same national standards. This is a failed educational approach that will undermine educational quality and choice. States and local communities better know how to design standards based on their students' and parents' needs than Washington's bureaucrats. In attempting to standardize education, the students will lose quality in education and create a false goal in passing exams. In attempting to educate children, they are limiting many classical practices such as reading nonfiction and basically simplifying math. The article, The Truth About Common Core, states the Common Core state standards do. They simply delineate what children should know at every grade level and describe the skills that they must acquire to stay on course towards college and career readiness. In the article, what new Common Core test scores really show by the Washington Post is that Common Core standards average scores on 5 of the 6 tested grade levels appear to have declined in New York. Third graders English language declined 3 points. Fourth grade average declined on 1 point. Fifth grade averages dropped 3 points. The already low average is declining little by little as Common Core continues. Thank you.